Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the time of day is, wherever you're at. What I'd like to talk about on this video is fear. A great deal of it around, um, a great deal of it around, and of course the news seems to perpetuate fear at many different levels. I asked myself the question, what's the purpose of fear? And this is what came up for me. The purpose of fear is to show us where we're out of alignment with our true nature. I truly believe that our real nature is fearless, joyful, and we should be living in a state of grace, but we're not. we're living by a whole myriad of rules which don't stand up to close scrutiny. Many years ago, I read a book, I think it was by Susan Jeffers, called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. There was much I liked about that book, but one thing that I remember clearly was an acronym that she used, FEAR, False Education Against Reality. And I can absolutely concur with that. I have not found, on serious investigation, that my fear was based on false education against reality. So that's what I'd like to look at this morning. How do we actually arrive at this place where fear seems to be the common factor? Well, I think the first starting point is our identity. Our identity for most people is body-mind, or what many people are calling now the duality model. And that is the belief that this body is who I am, the skin line is its boundary, and of course the body is clearly limited. And if I think I'm a single little body in this universe, I will be fearful. I will be fearful. And so we need to be able to challenge that in a way where our own experience directs us. You know, we truly only need someone to nudge us to where we can test it out for ourselves. I think if you can't test it out for yourself, forget it. So one of the things that we can test out quite quickly is when we're fearful, we need to ask ourselves, what's going on here? And we will either respond appropriately or react. Most react, of course. So how does this come about? Well, if you're angry at someone, you obviously believe that they are the cause of your anger. But if you just investigate it, even ever so slightly, you will realize that the experience of your anger is clearly in your mind. The experience of the other person is clearly in your mind. It's in awareness, pure awareness. It isn't out there. There isn't an out there outside of awareness. You know, awareness is all-encompassing. And so when we find that, no, it's really my thoughts about the other person that cause me distress. At some level, I obviously think they're not okay. And then what I lose then is the unity, the field of unity in my own mind. All minds are created equal. All minds absolutely enjoy the oneness of self that can be discovered, and if you do discover it, it will set you free. But first we need to learn to see differently. The body's eyes, the only thing that they know is what we've taught them. You know, I'm looking at this camera this morning, talking to it, hopefully talking to you. But where's the experience of this camera? Well, clearly it's in my mind, consciousness. The camera is an object, but consciousness is not an object. It's subjective. I decide what everything means to me, and therein lies the secret. I can begin to undo this mad idea that somehow I'm trapped in this body. So I do encourage you to investigate, absolutely make a commitment to get to know who you are. Mindfulness is a terrific discipline for getting to know who you are. And try this simple exercise over the next 2 days. When you're angry at someone or something, instead of blowing your top, just simply sit with the anger and let it release. It will release quite naturally. Just sit with it and let it release. Let it release. And little by little, you'll learn to see differently, not with the body's eyes, but with vision. The vision of wisdom, the primordial wisdom that will show you that you absolutely do recognize when you're hacked off with somebody or something. You recognize that, you know it. So there's a knowing aspect to awareness which actually can set us free. And when we stop blaming other people for how we feel or their behavior and take control of our own emotions, and when I say take control, let them be. Let them be. They won't harm you. They're trying to teach you something. They're trying to teach you that you're out of synchronization with your own natural being. Your own being is loving, open intelligence. No boundaries, no borders, pure clarity, infinite, indestructible. I could go on. We are quite wonderful, really, but we need to do a little bit of basic investigation to start the journey. And in doing so, we will overcome fear and live a life that's joyful and free from any fear of any kind. So if you'd like to know more, do get in touch with us. This is Joseph Geraghty at the School of Mastery, and you can find us quite easily. Take care.